AST SpaceMobile reported their latest quarterly figures Thursday after hours. At the time of making this video, the stock is down between 11 to 12% or so. Now, before going over the whole thing, I just want you to know, these companies in the space industry have gotten a lot of attention more recently and especially throughout the year. If you look at a lot of those space players, they are probably all up over 100% year to date. So yes, sometimes it can happen and it will happen that a good report or an okay report results in the stock going down. It can be because one, price to perfection, valuation doesn't make sense, or more losses because most of these companies are still losing money. Just so we're on the same page here. Now, like I said, at the time of making this video, SpaceMobile, AST SpaceMobile is down around 10-11% or so, has a market cap of closer to $8 billion. Now, as you see, year to date, this stock is up already over 300%. The last time I did a video about AST SpaceMobile was, around here, around the peak. And I said it just didn't make sense to be trading at such a high valuation. It was also much bigger than Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab since then has gone up by, I think, 130% or so, while SpaceMobile is down 30 to 40%. That doesn't mean it's a horrible company. Just meant that the market was not really making much sense. And we've seen that before. Today, it still isn't that cheap. It is, of course, cheaper than before, or should I say less expensive than before, right? EV to sales for the next 12 months is now at 5.8 times. As you can see, previously we were closer to 60 times. I mean, even the most bullish people could agree that trading at 65.7 times EV to sales just doesn't make much sense. Yes, this is a company that is expected to grow extremely fast if, of course, everything is on schedule. So, okay, you are paying a premium because right now they're losing money, but in the future they will be making money and much more. With regards to profits, well, I think there is still a long way to go until this company actually becomes profitable. But right now, the average analyst price target, 5 analysts, 3 with a buy rating, 2 with a strong buy, still sits over 40% higher than the price we're at today at close to $38. So what exactly has happened? Well, let's take a look. We already covered Rocket Lab this week. We covered Intuitive Machines yesterday. We're going to cover Redwire as well. I'm going to cover a lot more of those smaller names, space names as well. I personally own Rocket Lab, so yes, I am biased, but I really hope that every single company out there does succeed because I love space. So the more opportunity, the more of those companies' success, the better. Anyways, if you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. As always, I'll have to start with this for those that aren't familiar. So by 2035, the space economy is set to reach $1.8 trillion, up from $630 billion in 2023, and averaging a growth rate of 9% per annum, a figure significantly above the growth rate of global GDP. Space-based and/or enabled technologies such as communications, positioning, navigation, and timing, and Earth observation services are expected to be the key drivers of this growth. And so, of course, let's talk about AST SpaceMobile. So they mentioned here a couple of things. First, 5 commercial Bluebird satellites achieved successful initial operations and filed special temporary authority STA request with the FCC to begin beta service with AT&T and Verizon. All 5 satellites successfully unfolded as of late October, completing a key post-launch activity. Then, secured orbital launch capacity to enable continuous space-based cellular broadband service coverage in key markets, including US, Europe, Japan, the US government, and other strategic markets globally. And this is important here. Launch services agreements with Blue Origin and existing launch vehicles for launches during 2025 and 2026. The agreements enable the orbital launch of up to approximately 60 Block 2 Bluebird satellites. And reaching that milestone is going to be of extreme importance for the company. More on that in just a second. They expanded the AST SpaceMobile customer ecosystem, adding 3 new contract awards with the US government, and continue to advance discussions with multiple commercial partners. Sanctioned by the SDA, we've seen that with Rocket Lab already, SDA Space Development Agency, to compete directly as a prime contractor under the Hybrid Application or Proliferated Low Earth Orbit HALO program. Now the SDA Is the Department of Defense constructive disruptor for space acquisition put in place during the first Trump administration with a multi-billion-dollar budget? And since we're going into Trump's second term, this could be bullish, especially with Elon Musk basically being, well, Elon Musk, I mean, SpaceX, part of the DOGE program, right? The Department of Government Efficiency. So yeah, you want your space program to be successful, but you also want it to be efficient. So I do believe that in the next 4 years, and I do think that that's one of the main reasons why a lot of these stocks have gone up in recent days, is because of, well, the Trump administration and Elon Musk basically being quite close to it. Now, in the earnings call, someone asked here, what opportunities does the hybrid acquisition of proliferated low Earth orbit program present for earning Department of Defense satellite-based service program contracts? And so they said the following here. In terms of PLEO, this is a program that is meant to buy services for the Department of Defense that are scalable rather than bespoke. And this is exactly how we have designed our system and our offering. The program has been so successful to date. In fact, it was recently announced that they were expanding it from $900 million to $13 billion. Yes, that's billions with a B. So yes, some exciting times ahead. I know a lot of people are talking about the commercial side of things, but don't forget, on the government side of things, you can make quite a lot of money. Then with regards to this part right here, so the launch services agreements with Blue Origin, this is with this one right here, the New Glenn rocket. Now the problem with the New Glenn rocket is that, well, it is yet to launch. It's supposed to launch still this year, 2024. Delays have happened in the past. Let's see what happens in the future. But this is a huge rocket. Huge rocket for Blue Origin. And it has to be very big because, well, this is basically what happens, right? The first gen Bluebird is very small compared to the next generation Bluebird. So you will only fit it into a huge rocket like the New Glenn. It can also go into the Falcon 9, but less. I think the amount is basically halved. So for those that will be saying, oh, why didn't they go with Rocket Lab? Well, probably because the amount that they can put in a Neutron rocket is much smaller than what they can put in a New Glenn one, and maybe even a Falcon 9. Plus, again, there is a risk going with Blue Origin. The risk is that, well, the launches will be delayed. That's why they have other options like SpaceX and like one in India. So remains to be seen what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, the launch of the New Glenn rocket, if that happens this year, is going to be quite beautiful to see. Hopefully it works out. And so right now, this is basically the big picture, right? If you zoom out a little bit, this is basically the big picture. Continued commercial progress with our global partners. Over 45 MNOs. These MNOs have over 2.8 billion subscribers globally. Now they have strategic partners, right, with AT&T, Verizon, Google, Rakuten. I believe Rakuten spoke about AST SpaceMobile in their own earnings call, so that's quite bullish. That's in Japan. And then selected MNOs are basically all of these companies in various areas on the planet. And so in short, launch agreements with Blue Origin, ISRO that's in India, and SpaceX to deliver AST SpaceMobile next generation Block 2 Bluebirds, targeting continuous coverage in the US, Europe, Japan, the US government, and other strategic markets globally. We launch campaigns from Cape Canaveral, Florida Space Force Station planned during 2025 and 2026. Blue Origin will become the third launch service provider in AST SpaceMobile history. And so for the quarter, revenue, of course, I mean, compared to last year was zero. Now we're at 1.1 million. Which is great. Now, if you look at total operating expenses, that's up 11.6% year over year. If you look at net loss attributed to common stockholders, that's up 722.8%. And so net loss, basic and diluted, increased by 378.3%. So yeah, that was higher than what the market was expecting also. And you also have, of course, dilution. Shares outstanding are up by 73.9%. Of course, you get diluted, so they can raise cash, they can survive a little bit longer, invest in the business, etc., etc. But yeah, you can be extremely bullish on the company, but don't forget that it's still a risky part of the journey. And I've said it in the past, right? Yes, okay, if you're looking for, let's say, a 10x opportunity here, so getting diluted early on could make sense, right? I mean, it's never great to see it. I mean, 73% increase in share outstanding year over year. That's quite something, right? So yeah, you should hope that they're using these funds intelligently so they can accelerate the growth of the company and actually eventually return lots of value to shareholders. I mean, yes, in the short run, like we've seen, the stock is up quite a lot already this year. So you could say, okay, we got diluted 73% year over year, but look at the returns. Yeah, I can agree with that, but I don't know, me personally, I don't know many people that bought here at $3, at $2. I'm sure some of you have bought there. Some of you have been with the company for a long, long time. But I do think that most only knew about this company when it started to go up and gain more and more traction, which, okay, fine. We've seen these scenarios before. Now, with the retracement here of around 35% or so, we are currently a bit in no man's land because we are under the 50 and the 20-day moving average. The 200-day one sits around $16.64. And as you can see, by the way, previously, right, RSI was overbought from end of May up until the start of September. And look at how high this thing has gone in that period of time. So you can stay overbought for a longer period of time and the stock can go higher and higher. So overall, good progress from the company. I mean, I don't think anything has changed here that much, right? It's all going, let's say, according to plan. I just find it a bit risky going with the New Glenn rocket since it is an unproven rocket. Maybe they got a discount on the price because it is unproven, which, okay, could make sense. But then again, if it blows up or if there are delays that could hurt the business, then of course they'll have to go with SpaceX. But like I said, with SpaceX, it's going to be a little bit a smaller payload. So, okay, fine. But if they reach the key requirements for them to be operational efficient, let's say, globally, especially in the United States, then you're going to start to see a completely different business. Plus, with the new administration, maybe more government contracts will get handed out and will be won by these smaller players that could definitely help the business. So all in all, stock is down, okay, but don't forget that the stock has gone up quite a lot. That's basically what we are seeing right here with a lot of other companies as well. Good or okay report, stock is down because, well, if we zoom out, we see that the stock is up 50, 100% in the last couple of weeks, if not the last couple of months. So that's all I've got for you right now. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.